and thanks for joining us for PGS ALL-STARS. I am your host, RM. Today, we're going to be talking about the new He-Man and Masters of the Universe Revelations trailer. And joining me are Tony Bunyon Snipe and TheRichard. How are you tonight, gentlemen?
Great.
Yeah, doing awesome.
Now, you both have seen the trailer, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Now, I have not seen the trailer. So what I'm going to do is watch it with you here for the first time. And I'm really, really excited to see what this trailer is going to be like. You know, we've been talking about Masters of the Universe, you know, for quite some time together. And of course, you know, we're going to continue talking about it. But I'm really curious as to what they've done and just to see what it's going to be like. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can watch it together. And,
all right.
Yeah. And let me see. And, okay. Oops. And I hope I'm doing this right. Share screen. Yeah. I couldn't remember which one it was. It's Chrome tab.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it's going to be shared. And we should all still be, are we all still on together?
We are.
Yes,
That's
we
what I
are. Oh, this is looking good.
Okay. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger for this one so that we can see it when we're watching it. And that didn't work well. But yes, that's even better.
There we go.
So this is going to be my first time watching the trailer. And you guys have already seen it, but it's really my first time. So here we go.
With that sword, Grayskull will soon be ours. Go! Halt! Bring the sword to the championship. What champion?
By the power of Grayskull, I have the power? What did it feel like?
You turned into a big ol' He-Man.
Were you still you on the inside, but you look like him on the outside? Or was he the same on the outside as he was on the inside, and you were somewhere else entirely?
Ow! That's a lot of questions.
The Master's nemesis has arrived.
The power of Grayskull is alive.
Who's there?
Why, Adam? Don't you recognize your Uncle Keldor?
This is our fight too.
I'm at least the master of technology?
Master of magic.
Master of the Wild.
Master of demolition.
Apologies, this is all just very exciting. Like a story of old.
By the power of Grayskull!
Saving Eternia is up to us.
Rise, my dark masters, and wreak havoc!
To know oneself is to truly become a master of the universe.
A master of the what now?
Behind this gate lies great power. We must approach with caution. Adam!
Wait up! Wait up!
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Nickelodeon show. That's what it feels like. It feels.
I mean, it is. It is. It is. You're not wrong. What do you think? Your first impressions?
I'm surprised. I am surprised by what I just saw. It was not what I was expecting it at all, and I felt like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to me.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
About the only thing that it's not that I didn't recognize a lot of the elements in it, but about the only thing that I really recognized was when he says, "I have the power." And
the villains were very recognizably themselves.
Yeah.
Wait, Tony, louder. What'd you say? You like the villains?
The villains look good. I mean, the villains.
Yeah,
villains,
I agree.
Skeletor, Trapjaw, Beastman. From what I saw of them, actually looked like the characters, but.
Who the heck are the heroes?
Yeah, it's it feels like the New Adventures of He-Man show, where it's just He-Man, Skeletor, and then a lot of these new characters.
What else did RM think about it, though? Because she's coming in slightly different than you and I. You and I kind of have a little bit of history here. What did you think? You said it kind of looked like, you're the one who said it looked kind of like a Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, that looks like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, from, I guess, the 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Did you recognize any of the heroes? Or did you recognize any of the characters, period, actually?
I recognized He-Man and Skeletor and something that looked like Orko.
Oh, God, that the computer thingy. Eek.
Robot, yeah. It's a weird thing. I don't... You're not going to like this. I don't hate the robot Orko. I think it kind of looks cool. Well, it's not really Orko, is it?
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying, wow, all right. Well, that's an example of where we're moving forward. This is a techno He-Man. This is but I still want to hear more about what RM thinks about it. Yeah. This is her reaction.
Yeah.
It's not what I expected. I understand what you mean. Like, it had that. I think, Tony, you said it felt like Nickelodeon style type of approach to children's cartoons.
Yeah.
It was they're trying to make it. This is another example of where I noticed that they said we have the power.
Yeah.
As opposed to I have the power, and that was also something that I never heard before in He-Man ever. So that was unusual. I didn't recognize any of those other characters. I don't know where they're from, or this was.
I've got a weird feeling that what they're going to do is I think all the villains are basically going to be the villains, because it looks like we've got Trapjaw, we've got Beastman, we've got Skeletor, Keldor. We have Keldor is clearly a human in this and not a Gar, so that's interesting. So when he turns into Skeletor, and I think this may be why that comic prequel might be actually the truth for Revelation. They might not use Keldor at all, because this version of the lore is using Keldor, which is interesting. A little bit odd, but interesting.
Now, this one is co-written by Kevin Smith, correct? Is this the one?
So. No.
Oh, no. Oh, this one is not. This one is not.
I don't think so. I think this is...
truthfully, I don't know.
No. This one is not. It's the comic book that we went over in the other episode. This one is its own entity, and yeah, I think that we're seeing a bunch of heroes. They're in amalgamations that honestly we can't recognize. Nobody I've talked to can recognize who the heroes are. Like, oh, is that supposed to be kind of Tila, kind of the sorceress? We could see the villains, though. The villains are kind of badass. I kind of really like the villains in this.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to the screen again, and I'm not going to play it entirely. I'm going to just look at it one more time and just kind of see if I can focus in on specific things that we're seeing. And I'm just going to maximize that. Come on, maximize. Just take a second for it to do its thing.
The world is interesting, and I do like the technology. I can see that.
Yeah, like this is new series trailer, Netflix Futures, it says. So it starts off with this really cool looking, it does look kind of cool. That looks very futuristic and unusual. I'm just gonna lower the sound and just so it won't be too loud. We're just looking at it there, and then we go to here. With that sword, Grayskull will soon be ours. Do you recognize any of these two characters?
Who the heck are these? I guess that's supposed to be Evil Lyn, but
it's Evil Lyn. Yeah, I'm guessing that's Evil Lyn. That's definitely Evil Lyn.
The only reason why we know it's Evil Lyn is because of the skull armatures around her costume. That's the only reason.
And I'd say the skin color as well, and,
right.
Purple eyes. But also, I think now this could be because he's green. It could be this version of it could be King Hiss. It could. What was Evil Lyn's mentor?
Her mentor was what? Not Hero, right? It was.
No. I'm thinking the Mike Young version of Evil Lyn had. Oh God, this is where my brain.
No, we've talked about this before. I don't have my books ready to actually answer that. Though she did have a mentor.
Hordak is.
No, it's not Hordak.
No, I mean no.
No, you're onto something. I just can't recall it either.
Okay.
No, I'm saying, do you think this could be a version of Hordak?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. We don't know what led him to become the physical shape. None of this really makes sense because none of them look like the way that we know them. So it's impossible for us. This is not canon. This is not canon. Period.
Right. So then we have this scene here. This character. Do you recognize this character at all?
I thought she might be Andra, though. No, she seems more like a sorceress type character, and we don't know.
Yeah. Again, this could also be Evil Lyn. This could be an earlier version of it. Do you think Evil Lyn might be one of the good guys who turns bad?
Well, she has something on the back of her, like a pack here.
Yeah, she's got the white hair. That is.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's like some kind of something here, like a circle or.
I honestly don't know. I really don't know.
And she casts some kind of. That looked like the same character. I meant to pause it so you can see her face. But.
No, that is the same. Yeah, for sure. And we see her later, though. She looks more like the sorceress now. Somebody mentioned that she might be a cross between Teela and the sorceress. I don't know. I mean, Tony and I have not actually talked about this, so we're not on the same page. I'm just letting you know that as we're watching this video. What are these things levitating by her head?
Yeah, I noticed that in the previous picture too. I was like, there was this circle here, and then there was another one here, and it has this blue light inside of them. I have no idea what that is. And so then she kind of has this weird emanation.
Out of body experience or multiple life experience sort of thing all at the same time, or she's on acid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a laser light show for her. Very unusual. But it's something that she had a premonition, perhaps. A champion, you know. So we see this character, and he looks like a young Adam, I would say. Or do you think not?
No, I agree. I think
that is Adam. Yeah, that is definitely Adam. That's definitely Adam.
And then,
there's only a few characters that we can guarantee. This is Adam.
Yeah.
And then we see
Well, I
the
mean-
sword, and there's like some sort of mystical language.
Elven runes, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Some sort of even Star Wars language that kind of looks like that. Although I don't know, like Mandalorian language or something.
I know it's a show for young children, babies, and
Yeah, it's very
yeah, it is kind of sucky that he says, "I have the power," and splash. Now he's got it.
That's obviously the first time he uses the sword, right?
I know. It's just we can get cheesy when that's really cheesy.
Okay.
So anyway, look at his armor, though. Okay, look at him now.
I have a cast list. We've got a character called Kimberly Brooks plays a character called Eldris. We've got a character called Duncan, so that's probably Man at Arms. We've got Prince Keldor. We've got Beastman, Evelyn. We've got Evelyn. Orko, which is ORK-0. So that's.
I'm fascinated with this. I'm not going to lie. I think it's kind of neat.
And that's SpongeBob, played by SpongeBob, Tom Kenny.
Wait, he died though.
No, Tom Kenny's still alive, isn't he?
The voice of Tom, isn't it? Tom Kenny. He died earlier this year, I think. The voice of SpongeBob, or maybe it was.
No, born 1962. He's still alive.
Okay. It was. No, it was the other one. Shoot. Okie dokie. Well, that's cool then.
Oh, here's an interesting thing. Yeah, sorry. What was this talking about?
Now he's like, I have the power.
What do you think of the sword, Tony?
Oh, okay, we've got a name. I think the green guy is called General Dolos.
Oh.
Dolos. General Dolos. D-O-L-O-S. Dolos.
Do you recognize that at all?
Do I recognize the sword?
No. Dolos.
There's Dolos. There's not off the top of my head. Certainly not from Master of the Universe.
No, there's Doros. There's not Dolos.
Yeah, Doros. Yeah, but
is it D-O-R?
D-O-L-O-S.
Oh no. Okay, that's a new character.
And it looks like here, what looks like it could be Grayskull rising up from.
Correct.
So could this be an origin of Grayskull?
Well, I think it might be. I've got a weird feeling that it's like when he becomes He-Man, he goes into like some sort of trance, perhaps, and it's like a vision that he sees of Grayskull. So maybe in this version of the world, Grayskull is destroyed.
Okay.
Possible. That's possible.
And perhaps it's almost like background radiation, you know?
Right.
Because it's not a complete image as it's as the Grayskull is building and everything like that. I'll also offer that when he does call upon Castle Grayskull, I have the power, it literally creates, it brings it back. So I think that might be two different versions, two different ideas that we might experience here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I've got an episode 1 cast list, and it's slightly different. Not in touch. So
having a hard time hearing you. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. If you stay closer to the microphone, Tony. It's
so we've got Fred Tatasciore is playing King Randor in this. Ben Diskin is playing Skeletor and Keldor, but he's not playing Keldor in the first episode. So I'm guessing that's going to be a flashback of some kind.
Could those rings that are floating around her be technology? Even I don't know.
Oh, quite possibly. Yeah, that
absolutely.
Yeah. Did they mention magic in this? They did, right?
Yeah, and this guy seems to have a ring on his shoulder.
Also,
Everything about this seems to be cyberpunk. That's what I'm thinking. It's
Also-
more cyberpunk tech than
also,
magic.
Here's the thing. Evil Lynn's name isn't Evil Lynn. It's Evelyn in this.
Yes.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So this is interesting. But yeah.
So there's our ORK-0, and he kind of has he bumps into He-Man's head.
Is that
That's not Orko.
No,
That's not the ORK-0?
No, that's not Orko.
That's a different character.
That looks like some kind of drone robot.
Yeah, it looks more like a Ord bot or whatever.
Yeah, like an enemy thing. There's Keldor.
Yeah,
and he has the power sword. Keldor with the power sword, which is interesting.
And there's this one more character I'm trying to get to.
Statue of Keldor as well.
Right.
I think is that now who's that? Is that the sorceress, perhaps?
Yeah, it looks like it could be the sorceress.
She is so pretty. I'm saying this bluntly. I think that they would make the sorceress like kind of the entity of attractiveness or whatever, and power. And I think that in this case, I think that is her entity. I think that that's the sorceress.
Okay. Yeah. And you said this is Keldor. Power of Grayskull is alive.
Yeah, because he says that. Now, I really do like the Skeletor. I like all the monsters.
I have a bit of a problem with, when they have big arms and tiny little legs.
Oh, no, fuck that. Or screw that. I don't like that either, But
for some reason, Skeletor and He-Man both look like that. And that's a bit weird to me. Seeing that Keldor doesn't look like... So maybe... Here's the thing. Here's my theory. Keldor becomes Skeletor in the same way that Adam becomes He-Man. So Keldor has his own power sword, or in this case, he probably has the Havoc Staff, and he turns into Skeletor in the same way as Adam turns into...
Why have we never talked about this, Tony? Because that's a genius idea.
That does make sense, too.
We should have been talking about that since the beginning, the 80s. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. I mean, it just appears like this because they have the same basic physique. Mm-hmm. He looks like a normal human being with normal arms and legs in this. But when he's Skeletor, he has that same physique as He-Man, big arms and kind of skinny little legs.
Well, that's because of isn't it the Playmates or whatever, the figures that they're basing this off of? So I necessarily wouldn't go into the high upper body.
But I'm just saying that it's just specifically He-Man and Skeletor have that body shape, whereas none of the other characters do.
Right.
So that's just the way it appears to me. It seems that they are almost like avatars. That He-Man and Skeletor might be the avatars, and Keldor and
okay,
Adam
you might be onto something really big there. That might be really nice. And what it says right here, I'm at least the master of technology. We've never heard the word technology used in Masters of the Universe, I don't think.
What about the techno people?
I mean, it's not a common phrase, master of technology. I mean, Hordak obviously is a sort of Hordak has got 1 foot in technology and 1 foot in magic, hasn't he? And obviously Duncan is kind of a we know that. It's just they never blatantly say it. That's the thing.
Right. So this might be another first.
I kind of think it is.
Here it says woman 1 master of magic. So maybe they're each a master of something.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think in this version of the lore, the Masters of the Universe it's going to be like they all have they all have specialties. And
Yeah,
they're the master of
Pokemon
that.
or Magic the Gathering, and he's Cringer
Avatar.
is Master of the Wild. So
Or master of cowardice. And well, this is the thing. Cringer doesn't look like it. Cringer doesn't seem to be. I have a feeling in this version, Cringer isn't his pet. I think it's going to be more like the original mini comics version of Battle Cat, who was kind of who just kind of appeared and attacked He-Man.
Right.
And he kind of and he ended up just, it's like, you know, he pulls, I don't know, I've got a weird feeling it's going to be something kind of simplistic, like pulling a thorn out of his paw or something, you know.
So is Master of Demolition also a first?
yeah, that's totally first.
Well, I think that this as a whole, this kind of idea as a whole is it's just kind of a new thing, and I think this is where they're going, because obviously they're going to want to differentiate it, because obviously what they're doing here is they're taking a very old property and they're trying to give it to a new generation who and we live in very different times, you know. Sword and sorcery isn't really that big a thing anymore, and there's Orko.
Yeah, I guess pause on him.
But yeah,
Orc Zero? Is it Orc Zero? Is that what they're calling him? Orc Zero?
Well, I think it's spelt like that, but like 3PO, you don't say 3P0, do you? You say
yeah, I know.
Well, thanks for joining us again on PGS ALL-STARS and our special series for what we love about Masters of the Universe. Hope to see you again soon. Until then, take care.